Hello all, it's Ruthie here. Run away with me to my country, beautiful New Zealand, otherwise known as Aotearoa, the land of the long white cloud. With its soaring mountains and glittering beaches, New Zealand looks like something from a fairy tale, but to me, it's just home. And in this beautiful home of mine, we're still in Napier having breakfast at the beachfront motel. It was time to move on, but not before we had a proper look at more of the gardens around the town. New Zealanders are keen on gardening, and our public spaces reflect this. So we wandered back down to the esplanade and looked at the fountain and the floral clock before ambling into town. As we pootled along, we came across an intriguing shop called the Department of Curiosities and Fine Things. I looked them up online, you guys, and they say they are a curated collection of the work of over 30 New Zealand designers and makers. It was very cool, and what really got our attention and dragged us into the shop was the park bench outside the shop. It had this community knitting project where you could add some stitches for fun. We made Mum do some knitting because she's really good at knitting. We could have got Rachel knitting too, but not me. I'm useless at that kind of thing, and it would have been really mean to add my ugly stitches to the end of a community knitting project that all the locals and passing tourists had done such a nice job on. Anyway, the Department of Curiosities and Fine Things really lived up to its name. It had a lot going on in there, and the lady in charge had a great smile. They also had this post-it station by the front window where you could write a positive affirmation and stick it up for other people to read. And let me tell you guys, that's just the sort of thing I would stop and look over if I was feeling down. So I made sure to add a little positivity of my own. I wrote, "Every miracle begins with a big problem. Kia kaha." That last bit is Te Reo Māori for be strong. If you're in Napier, I highly recommend the Department of Curiosities and Fine Things. It was a lovely experience, and Mum even got a really unique velvet jacket in there too. I'll put a link to the shop below, and as always, these aren't paid placements. It's just New Zealand is my home, and I like to be able to share it with you. So after we went to the Department of Curiosities and Fine Things, we kept wandering along to see what we could see. And according to some sources, because of course it was rebuilt very consistently after the earthquake in the Art Deco style, Napier is considered by some people to be the Art Deco capital of the world. So there were some really cool shops with some really cool 20s style fashion. We went into a particularly wonderful one, and there was a little notice saying, "If you want to film, please ask." So I did ask, and the man was really nice. He said I could, but I kind of got the feeling he didn't really want me to. So I thought, I just think I'll be sensitive and not show you that on here, because just because someone says yes doesn't mean they necessarily want to. But anyway, the point is there were some very, very cool 1920s style things in that town. So if you're into that kind of thing, you will love Napier. And then we kept walking along because Mum was bound and determined to go to this beautiful park she noticed when we came in. And her and Rachel had a bit of a squabble on how to find it, and I wish I had recorded that for you because it was pretty hilarious. I mean, it was all very polite and understated, but yes, they weren't very pleased with each other. But not to worry, eventually we got to the park, and I have to admit, Mum had a point. It was really pretty and definitely worth the walk. After we looked at the pretty park, we fancied a coffee, and we decided to get it in Hastings. So we drove over. Napier and Hastings are in the Hawke's Bay region, and while I was in that part of New Zealand, I noticed a lot of advertising for golf courses and wineries. I don't actually drink or play golf, but I want this video to be as interesting as I can for you guys, and I know those things appeal to a lot of people. So I did a spot of research and found out that if you do like wine and golf, New Zealand is certainly the place for you. The Hawke's Bay is a major wine region, but apparently there are lots of wine regions in New Zealand. Something to do with a long, skinny island nation allowing all the vineyards to be close to the sea, and our diverse landscape allowing for all sorts of wines to be produced. The images on your screen are stock footage of vineyards from all around New Zealand. According to my research, there are over 200 vineyards in the Hawke's Bay region alone, and over 2,000 wineries in the whole country. We export our wine to over 100 countries, and it's currently our 6th biggest export. As for golf, according to research, New Zealand has some of the most beautiful golf courses in the world. It's not that surprising, really. New Zealand might not be a big, powerful country, but we are very pretty. So I guess wherever you plonk a golf course down here, it's probably going to be gorgeous. Since I don't know that much about either of these subjects, but I am rather proud of my country of origin, I will link a couple of videos below that will give you more information on these subjects. They're worth watching, if only for the beautiful scenery. As we neared Hastings, we spotted a very pretty old house set in lovely grounds. Hoping it was a tea house, we pulled in. I had a feeling it wasn't a tea house, but the garden was jolly pretty, and I decided to film it while Mum marched up to tap on the door. I do admire my mother, but I prefer to leave her to it when she's in a courageous door-tapping mood. Anyway, it wasn't a tea house, it was something better. It was the HQ of the Hawke's Bay Knowledge Bank. According to their website, the Knowledge Bank is an ever-growing digital record of Hawke's Bay and its people. Stories of the events, people, celebrations, tragedies, and day-to-day life that help form the culture and landscape of the bay we know today are gathered here in an easy-to-access format. Our volunteers collect personal and business stories, photos, memories, and magazines, digitizing them for everyone to read and enjoy. Well, you can imagine how that sort of thing made our resident historian, aka Mum, feel. She got extremely excited. A very charming gentleman, a Mr. Grant Ansell, had answered the door, and he offered us a tour of the Knowledge Bank. It was really, really cool. A lot of very nice, friendly people working away preserving history. Mr. Ansell gave us a tour of the house, heritage listed, including the big, warm farmhouse kitchen where the researchers were boiling a kettle and laying out morning tea. Rachel heard one of them quip they would have baked some scones to make a buck if they had known they were getting company, and I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And I wish they had too, actually. New Zealand home baking is usually really yummy. I didn't film inside the Knowledge Bank, but you can find out more about them on their website. I will put the link below. It was such a nice, cheery environment. If I lived in the Hawke's Bay, I think I'd love to volunteer there, and if you are in the area, feel free to drop in, as the website warmly welcomes visitors. There was also a nice big climbable tree in the garden, which I am proud to say I effortlessly climbed in heels, albeit low heels. I'm a bit of a klutz, as Rachel filmed. I asked her if she wanted to climb it while I filmed, but she said she was good, in a voice that made me think she doesn't think tree climbing is nearly as impressive as I do. But that's because she's the other Miss Hamilton, and she's better at lots of things than me. After our exciting discovery of the Knowledge Bank, we continued our drive on into Hastings to get a coffee, and we found a very pretty cafe with these lovely 20s style silhouettes painted on the wall, which I thought were really, really pretty. And we went round the corner and we came into this little cafe called Charm, and they really lived up to their name. The staff in there were completely delightful, so much so I think I'm going to write to them and tell them how much I enjoyed their cafe. Anyway, if you do happen to be in Hastings, I highly recommend you check it out, because the coffee was delicious, and they even had these adorable little spoons that looked like they'd grown on a tree, and you can imagine how much I liked that. So we had an absolutely delightful coffee there, and the staff were, well, charming, as is proper in a place called a Charm. And I will put links below for the cafe. And yes, it was absolutely delightful, and I think this is where I'm going to end this video on Ruthie at home in New Zealand. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall show you what we did next in the next video. Have a lovely day. Bye.